Say hi. We're getting ready to go swimming. I am. You're not. You're not coming with me just yet, are you?
Yeah.
So episode 1, when I mentioned I'm doing a lot of this to inspire my son when he grows, this is him. Theodore. Say hello.
Yeah.
We're just doing some adjustments to the bike seat to make sure we're at a good height for the ride we're about to do today. You're helping me out, won't you, buddy? Yeah. He's new to this whole YouTube thing, but he'll be a natural in no time, don't you worry. Alright, yes team, welcome to episode 5 of the Project Ironman series. Now today I want to talk about how I'm currently fitting in Ironman training around a full-time job and obviously, as you've just seen, fatherhood as well. Now as we know, Ironman training is very time consuming and energy demanding, but what I found so far is by using the tips I'm about to mention in this video, and they're the same tips I've helped guys in my coaching program help balance their career, family life and the triathlons and ultra endurance events they train for, is that it's not actually been too bad so far. I am still 22 weeks out from the event, which means training isn't as intense right now as it's going to be in future, but still we're about 10 to 12 training hours per week, which is obviously still quite a lot. We're just getting ready for a swim now, and then we've got an hour and a half on the bike. So let's dive into the video and get this training done. So I won't lie, I'm actually pretty tired today because the last couple of nights I've had a few social occasions I've had to attend to, which has just completely thrown off my sleep routine. So today's training isn't very intense, it's just long and steady. So it's going to be zone 2 training for the most part, so it's more just mental resilience of pushing through it as opposed to actually pushing the intensity in each session. So this swim's going to be nice and easy, followed by a nice easy bike ride as well. Okay, so swim is done, 2k in the books, and we're now getting ready for the bike ride. So just getting a quick tap of electrolytes and had some flapjacks on the way home to fuel me up. And I'll probably have a gel at about 1 hour just to get my stomach used to it. One of the first tips I want to share for fitting in this training around work, fatherhood and just general life as well is something I've actually started doing recently, which is using the commute to work to help get some of the mileage in. So my commute to work currently is about 4 miles, which when driving can take anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes, but if I run that, it takes me anywhere between 35 and 45 minutes. So by me running to work, I actually only add another 20 minutes to my day because I'd be driving that anyway, and it helps me get my training in as well. So one of the best things I've been doing for my runs is using them to get to places I'd normally be going to anyway. Not only does this save on fuel, but it also just kills 2 birds with 1 stone by helping getting the miles in and also getting to where you need to be. Of course, this does take a bit of planning, but that actually brings me on to my second tip. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they wake up knowing they have a training session to complete on that day, but just go about their day waiting for the right opportunity to complete that session. Now when you do this, you are asking for failure because the day inevitably is just going to eat away at that time, and before you know it, it's going to be the end of the day, you're going to be too tired and not have the opportunity to actually get that training session in. So what I do instead is every Sunday before my week starts, I look at all the training sessions I need to complete and I put them in my diary as I would with any other important tasks like work, family time and all the other things I have going on in that week. In addition to this, I also add 15 minutes either side of that session to allow for contingencies if something else takes a bit more time than I expect it to take. Just realised I've got some pretty nice goggle marks in my eyes. Didn't really think that one through. Now when you do this with your diary, a few things happen. The first one is you actually start to prioritise your time on what's valuable to you in the week, and you realise how much spare time in the week you actually waste on activities that quite frankly aren't serving you. Like watching Netflix, scrolling through social media, and all the things actually eat up hours of your time when you accumulate them over the week. The second thing that happens when you start to plan out your week is actually more of a mental shift, because you start to look at how you can fit the training in as opposed to thinking, oh, I'm so blocked up, I'm never going to be able to get this done. So for example, if I know that on a Sunday I have a long session to complete that's going to take up to 3 hours, I start to move things around that I know I have to do at other points in that day and start to make gaps for that to be possible. And that brings me on to the next step of doing this, which is the fact that you actually become more organised and start setting yourself up for success. Something that stuck with me from my degree at university was one of my lecturers who said the 6 P's, which is proper planning prevents piss poor performance. So when you plan things into the diary, you can start to set yourself up so that when that action needs to be completed, you are already set up for success. i.e. if I know I need to go for a run the next morning, the night before I can start laying out my gym clothes, I can get my trainers ready, I can make sure everything's ready for when I complete my run, so that all I need to do on that morning is wake up, get my clothes on, grab my water bottle and then get going. Instead of the alternative, which is what most people do and why they fail, where they wake up, they realize it's too late to get a session in because they've not planned it properly, they go to work, they come back, the evening takes them by because they've got dinner, kids, whatever it may be, and then before they know it, it's too late in the day to get that run complete. So I'm actually in about 20 minutes into this ride right now, and I'm sweating a lot, and I'm actually quite hungry / feeling slightly depleted. So I'm gonna have this gel, which has also got some caffeine in to give me an extra boost, because like I said, I'm feeling a little bit tired today. I've perked up a little bit, but I just want an extra boost for the next hour and 10 minutes on this bike. So gel in, electrolytes in, to replace the essential minerals I'm losing from the sweat, and we are good to go. Okay, that is 1 hour and 30 minutes ticked off from the bike. I'm a mess and have much less layers on now. So I'm gonna get cleaned off and get run into the shops to get my dinner. Then we're gonna dive into my third tip of how I am currently fitting in Ironman training around work, fatherhood, life. All right, as I'm trying to be quick to get to the shops before they close at 4 o'clock, I haven't got time to get a meal in, unfortunately, although that is rather desired right now after all that work. I'm just having a protein flapjack, which I actually mentioned in one of my last videos. These are like 500 calories, 17 grams of protein. I don't even know if you can see that, the camera's not gonna focus, but these are Uncle Jack's protein flapjacks. The cherry bakewell flavor is absolutely unreal. And this will keep me going for another half an hour before I actually get back home again and cook up some food. So I made it to the shops, food has been acquired and it's cooking behind me, just having some bacon and egg muffins right now because I just want something quick and easy, to be honest, and tasty. But the next tip I'm about to share is actually one that's been the most useful for me so far, and one that's actually probably going to be pretty surprising for you. So as soon as I cook this, I'm gonna share it. Okay, so this next tip may not be applicable to everyone, but assuming you have a partner and other responsibilities involving a relationship, then what's been the biggest thing for me with this in mind with a fiance and a child is collaboration and communication. Now, obviously with being a partner and a father, there's lots of responsibilities that come with that, like childcare, having time for date nights and things like that, and just generally being present with Kira and Theo in my life. Now obviously the challenge with the Ironman comes from the fact that it just takes so much time during the week on top of the time I'm already out the house for work and other commitments. So in order for me to fit in the 10+ hours training per week, I need to collaborate with Kira in order to establish our routines and what our actions are for the week, and also communicate effectively with her to ensure that everything I'm doing and that she's doing is synced up and we both are in line with each other. And this brings back the importance of planning out the week effectively so that we can then both look at the week collectively and make sure both of our values and needs are fulfilled. Like today, for example, it's a Sunday and I said I have a big ride and a swim to do. So Kira has took Theo out for the afternoon and done some fun activities with other family members. But if I didn't plan that in a week and communicate effectively with her, then today may not have been a day that I could have done the bike and the swim. So that's been one of the biggest things for me, and I appreciate that it may not be applicable to everyone, but I'm sure there's a lot of people watching these videos with a child and a partner who understandably expects some time and presence during the week with them. Okay, so something I've mentioned a few times in this video is planning your week. So I thought it'd be a useful exercise to actually go through in real time of what a week plan would look like and how I would personally structure it for the best success possible. And I'm going to do this based off a normal working week. Let's say you're working 8 till 4, 9 till 5, whatever that might be, but we're going to get the real basic things in there. First of all, we're going to look at the training commitments of what I'm doing currently, which is 3 times weightlifting, 3 runs, 3 bike rides, and 2 swims. So that's currently 11 sessions in total, and I know that 8 of these sessions are going to be roughly 1 hour long. So these sessions are going to go into my diary for the Monday to Friday because they're easier to fit around my work schedule, and the longer sessions, the longer swim, bike and run, are going to go in on the weekends when I've got more free time. You may not be able to see these notes, but that's fine because they are just notes, and I'm going to get into the bread and butter now. But what's important is that you lay out exactly everything you have on in that week, so then you can then allocate it in the diary for Monday to Sunday. So if we had a normal week, we're going to go Monday to Sunday, and this is going to start getting really messy, but we're going to get the point one way or another. Now all we're going to do here is put in your waking time. So for me that's anywhere between 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So I'm going to go 6, 7, 21. So I know straight away that my working week is 8 till 4 Monday to Friday, so I can go ahead and put that in the diary as the first thing. As soon as I've put in my work week, the next most important thing to me is the time I spend with my son, and I want to do that for at least an hour and a half every single day, which is generally going to be half an hour in the mornings before I go to work, and then at least an hour in the evenings. So I go ahead and put that in the diary to make sure I get that time with him. What I'd normally do is map this out, then actually make a digital diary on my phone on Apple Calendar and color code each one. So now Monday to Friday I've got my working week and the time I spend with my son, and on the weekend I'll obviously spend a lot more time with him, so I'll do a big block on a Saturday just blocked out that's committed to family time and nothing else. Now I've got my main commitments in terms of my work and my family time, I'm now also going to put in my training schedule. So I'd start off with my 3 lifting sessions each week, and I'm going to do those on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday morning. Then I can just tick those off because I know they're going to get done, and look at what I have remaining. So when I look at my 3 runs each week, I'm now probably going to look at the gaps. I'm going to get one in on a Tuesday, I'm going to get one in on a Thursday, and I'm going to get the longer run done on a Saturday morning. So now I've got my 3 runs on the board, I can tick those off. Now I've got 2 swims and 3 bike rides. I know 1 swim and 1 bike ride has to be longer, so I'm going to take up the Sunday morning up until about 11 or 12 o'clock to do those. I have 1 swim left, which I'm going to put midweek to give me a few days between each one, so I'll do that on a Wednesday evening after the weightlifting session and work. So I can now tick my 2 swims off, and then all I have remaining are 2 bike rides anywhere between 45 to 60 minutes, which as you can see now I can choose from any of the gaps on these boards after work Monday to Friday, and it just depends on the intensity of each session I'm doing. So I know that my weightlifting and running Monday and Tuesday is probably going to be more intense, so I might just want to leave an easy bike ride, a 45-minute or shorter bike ride for the Monday. I'll just have the run on Tuesday and then leave the rest of Tuesday to recover before another big day on a Wednesday where I've got a weightlifting session and a swim. I've got a run on a Thursday which is going to be a longer, slightly easier run, so I'm going to put another bike ride in then. So now, as you can see, I've got all of my sessions in and actually quite a lot of free time in my diary, or a lot of white space. White space is actually really good in the calendar because, as we're all aware, things pop up in life. There'll be things that need my attention more urgently, and I'm not back to back with everything, which means that when those things do pop up, I've got 3 spaces in the calendar where I can do those things. For example, I may look at Friday night and know I've got nothing on, so we might arrange a date night. I've got not much on a Sunday, so we could go out for lunch. I've got free evenings after time with Theo, so I might then spend that time doing something for myself or spending time with Kira, and there's actually quite a lot of space here for me to play around with. So that's how I do it. It may look something similar to yourself, may be completely different, but something we actually do with everyone we bring on board in the Ignite Performance Program is that we do a very similar exercise, but before we put anything on the diary, we find out what's the most important things for you to tick off, and that could be anything between 3 and 5 kind of tasks slash values. It could be family time, work life, training, walking out in nature. It could be anything that you actually enjoy doing. You're going to put those things on the calendar first, and once you've got those blocks, you can then see the white space and then start filling up those spaces with the next best thing that you want to go on that diary. And don't get me wrong, it may not always look like this. There will be emergencies that take priority. It might be a family emergency, it might be something that you have to get sorted, it might be car troubles, who knows. But at least for this, we've got a solid plan for 90% of the time that's going to get executed. And the next step of this process, and making sure you follow through with everything you said you were going to do, is then actually having the discipline to get up and do it. Stacking the wins every day, doing something that you don't really want to do, but doing it anyway because you know the result is going to be worthwhile. And when you keep stacking those wins, you build momentum, and the goals and the processes just get bigger and bigger, but so does your willpower, so is your desire to win. So that is me done with a Monday morning 10k, or just over 10k actually. And that is exactly what I'm talking about in terms of having the willpower and actually executing what you said you were going to do, which is the most important part of this video. So I'm going to tune out there. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, if you have any questions, don't forget to comment down below, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.